Hey everyone.
Hey guys.
Welcome to the Captain Marvel review. This is part of our Marvel retrospective series. Rick, this one kind of come up on us quick, didn't it?
It did. Came out pretty quick for us.
They obviously are pumping out the movies pretty regularly at this point. And this film here was going to be a really interesting one because it's the film between... Well, the second film between the two Avenger films.
Yeah. So it's going to set up for Endgame.
Absolutely.
So, the critical movie.
Yes. Now, we'd seen the trailers, and the trailers looked good. You know, they didn't blow us away. I mean,
No.
I think it's pretty hard, especially with the year of the Avengers Infinity War, to blow everyone away. But the trailers did look decent.
Yeah.
For me, I wasn't super excited about the prospect of seeing this. I just have all my faith in Marvel. How about yourself?
I wasn't, like yourself, Jace, I wasn't really overly keen to see this myself either. Yeah, saw the trailer, saw it, fantastic. You know, it's a Marvel movie. We're going to go out there, we're going to see it. So, going into it, you know,
It's one of those films. I think, your hardcore fans out there must have been just tickled pink to think that they would even get a Captain Marvel movie. So, I'm sure they were pretty excited. But you know what? I must say, it'd been a while since we had seen any footage of this movie, because this movie was announced 4 years ago.
Yep.
They announced this as part of the when they announced all those movies back in 2014 or something. So we've been waiting a long time. And we knew Brie Larson. She was hired back in 2016, so she kept 3 years since she actually got the job before we've actually seen it on screen. So which was kind of interesting. But, that's a bit of the backstory anyway. But, Rick, I've got to ask you straight off the bat. Let's get stuck into it. By the way, guys, this is a full spoiler review.
Yes.
We will be spoiling everything about this movie. Rick, what did you think?
Look, straight off the bat, I just want to say straight off the bat, the opening credits to this movie was fantastic. It was a great homage to Stan Lee, and it actually touched me a little bit, so it was fantastic. It was really good to see Marvel do that.
Excellent point.
For me, this movie, I had some issues with it. Okay? The first issue I had was the movie itself. It just didn't feel like... I didn't know what the tone was in this movie for me. We had a bit of 90s nostalgia. We had a bit of that was for 10 minutes in this movie. And then we had a buddy cop scenario. And then we had another, friendship between, two people, women. So it was kind of all over this place for me. And the other thing I also had problems with was the memory scenes. That kind of in and out memory scenes kind of just threw me a little bit from the actual movie itself.
Wow.
And I had the issues with that. But Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, fantastic. Chemistry between her and Samuel Jackson was great. Loved it. And the CGI was the killer thing that just made this movie for me. Didn't even know, watching Samuel Jackson being that young... It kind of just blended in for the rest of the movie. It just didn't, for me, just completely forgot about it. So, great on that side of things.
Well, for me, I'm actually quite surprised that you had that kind of many issues with the actual plot. I think that's, to me, what works the best in this film is the fact it is a hybrid of genres. I think you touched on something very good there. I saw really strong influences from buddy type of scenario movies. Midnight Run just jumped out to me. This film just seems like Midnight Run in big chunks of it. I liked the discovery of, as the audience, we go along her discovery to find out who she is. Look, it's an origin story.
Yeah.
And I've said in the past in these reviews, and I think you agree, origin stories are starting to get a bit ho-hum at this point, because we like to see him in action, and they tried to do this by doing the whole Iron Man trick.
Yeah.
Of literally opening the movie with our hero, damaged. And then kind of discovering, and instead of going back in time, they used the memory sequences of you kind of discovering, which I thought the well put together. As for the 90s nostalgia, I think not only did they nail that in the film, it's what is the umbrella that goes over the entire movie in the sense of the tone. I thought it was excellent. And here's one of the great things I love, is I went in there expecting the Skrulls to be the villains.
Yeah, and that was...
And they were not.
Yeah.
They were not the villain, which I think was wonderful, because I had issues with Guardians of the Galaxy with the Kree, because, Ronan the Accuser, we know him from Guardians of the Galaxy, who's in the film, albeit a cameo, really.
Yeah.
It is very much, I'm thinking, if she's part of, like, the Kree, that's confusing, because the Kree are, they're bad guys. But so are the Skrulls in the comic books. So it was a real nice touch to see Ben Mendelsohn, who's always cast as a villain.
He was,
always cast, who's a knockout in this film.
He is.
I love the fact he kept his Aussie accent throughout it. I love that. He's actually a good guy in the end. And I think I love... so I love the chemistry between Brie Larson and Samuel Jackson. I thought was great. I love the cat. I thought the cat was a nice little weird addition. Kind of felt like a bit of a Groot. Like that's their version of Groot in a way. But yeah, look, I have a lot to love about this film. I think this movie's an onion. There's lots of layers there for me.
You know what I didn't really like was Jude Law.
Yeah, okay.
His performance, I just did like I couldn't. I guess there was no chemistry there, and things didn't pull me in for some of the characters.
Yeah, I think you're right. In hindsight, he kind of gives it away that he's kind of the bad guy.
Yeah.
There's never in any point of the film do you kind of like him as a character. No, I don't think.
I didn't.
You don't like him from the beginning, and so you're not surprised when you're surprised. I was really surprised when you found out the Skrulls weren't the villains. But then again, when you see Jude Law, you're not surprised that he's a villain, because he's a bit of a prick throughout the entire thing. Look, to me, the big hat's off. The one thing that I was really concerned about was whether I would like Brie Larson.
Yeah, she was great.
And I think she was great.
She was... Oh.
But I too have problems, Rick. But these are more philosophical, bigger problems.
As in...
Well, with the character... She's unstoppable. Yeah. Like, what do you do? I mean, like, she's clearly going to save the day. She's almost like she can fly from
you saw how she just destroyed
and destroy shit.
Yeah.
Is she too powerful? Is she too powerful for the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And then what happens there? Because if you've got to battle someone who has to be an equal to Captain Marvel in upcoming adventures, that raises the stakes. That means you're going to have someone as powerful as Captain Marvel. But what about the gap between the rest of the characters? How does a Black Widow compete in that universe? How does a Captain America compete in that universe? Like she could destroy every one of them. So it's going to be an interesting thing. How do they keep her as part of the MCU without making her just all-powerful, too easy,
just dominate the whole lot?
Dominate everything. So, but I'm sure they've got a plan to kind of work that out. Overall, I thought it was a film that, if you were a casual Marvel viewer, Rick, gee, you'd be scratching your head through some of this, because you'd be trying to piece it all together. Now, I'd consider us fairly hardcore fans, and my mind was ticking throughout the whole thing.
With the whole Tesseract,
especially with the Tesseract, because all of a sudden we get, and which was a nice review. I did not have any idea that was going to happen. But we see the Tesseract is the MacGuffin of this movie as well. And it's just like, well, hang on a minute. The last time I remember the Tesseract was in Antarctic, or the Arctic Sea at the bottom when it crashed from Captain America. But they kind of do a good job explaining it all. But look, this film had a lot of surprises. I think this is a really fun Marvel film. Is it a top echelon? No, not at all. It wouldn't be in the top 2 or 3 Marvel films for my liking, but it's a solid Marvel entry, and at least now they've got her origin story out of the way.
Look, this is going to be obviously one of those movies that was going to be hard. Like I said, it's an origin story, and it's a lead female role.
But here's the other issue, Rick. Who knew about her?
No.
Like Wonder Woman, you got a fan base built in, but only your hardcore Marvel comic book guys know who Captain Marvel is.
And she's huge in the cosplay, and everyone just loves this as a character. So for her, Brie Olsen to nail it, she was great. I think it was a great job. But there was just things that I just didn't like in this movie. Don't get me wrong, this is an enjoyable movie. I enjoyed it. It was great, but I've just got those little things like the fight scenes. There was probably one memorable fight scene. The rest kind of floated, and like I left the cinema. I'm like, hang on a minute, I only remember that one good fight scene. And
You're right. Yeah, you are right.
that was that beginning scene. When
You are right. But I don't know if this film was about that, though.
Nah.
And for me, what's memorable about the film, actually, now I'm thinking about it, are the characters. And maybe that's not such a bad thing, because you want spectacle. Go check on Infinity War. What's going to get any bigger spectacle than that, third act? Or throughout the entire film. I think this film was very much in tone. Is a 90s independent feeling road movie. And that's what they've kind of done. And you've got your obligatory scenes. I think where the problem lies, and I think why you're feeling uncomfortable about it too, is it takes a big jump. So you have this independent 90s feel movie, and then this galactic.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
totally,
that
does shift quite a bit.
Yeah.
So look,
I just didn't have an emotional connection with some of the characters. That was
Brie Larson. I learned to enjoy her performance.
Yeah.
Obviously Nick Fury was great, but maybe he went a bit too kind of joyous.
But I like that.
He was a bit lighter in tone. He was.
But I like that because we're so used to seeing him so regimental and everything.
I don't know how I feel about the reveal how he lost his eye now.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind. It's funny. It's a good joke, but to feel like they actually cat scratched his eye, and that's what. Because you would have thought it'd been something like really disturbing, or
the creep pulled your eye out.
It's just a cat scratching it. So that's kind of funny. Look, this is a film I'll certainly be watching again. It's one of those films though that doesn't require a lot of thought about it. No. But you're right. In repeat viewings, you know how we watch all the other Marvel ones, we watch Ragnarok, Infinity War, Civil War, all the, what I consider the upper echelon. You look forward to certain scenes, don't you?
You do.
Now I'm starting to think, what would I skip to? If I have the Blu-ray in the player,
right now,
what scene am I skipping to? There's really not a lot there.
No,
I've got to say.
Some of the scenes were just too dark. Choreography just didn't work for me. Fight choreography, it just didn't flow.
I must say that the galactic scenes too didn't seem as fresh as they have in other galactic scenes throughout the Guardians of the Galaxy. Always a visual splendor. But you see, obviously, the design and the tone, everything is taken from Guardians of the Galaxy. It has to be for continuity.
Did you like the score in this?
I thought it was a strange choice to put synthesizer, 80s influence synthesizer. I felt like I was hearing Stranger Things theme. In it. But the music was dead on accurate. Yeah. It was great. I mean, I love the music, you know. And like I said, the whole 90s thing, from the Mallrats reference.
How good it is, Stan.
To the Blockbuster. To everything there, and the choices of songs, that's always kind of perfect. So, look, overall, this film... Oh, gee, dude, it's a 7. It's a 7 for me. And because I don't want to hate on it. It's not a bad 7. No, it's a good 7. And it's a 7 that, you should not be ashamed of this film whatsoever. But it's a little bit of a letdown. Yeah. Well, early on they were touting this to be kind of like, this will be Marvel's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
It's certainly not that, but Marvel do their own thing, so they don't have to kind of match or compare to DC at all. So, Rick, what do you reckon?
Look, I'm going to say 6.5 for me. Yeah. That's a strong 6.5. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed this movie. I did. It's a good movie.
That puts it down in the area of Incredible Hulk, Thor: The Dark World range.
Oh, in the Thor range,
in
definitely.
The score. For you,
for me, definitely.
For the score, yeah. For me, it's that step up from those lower 2 or 3 movies. It's in that
just
range.
Up.
Yeah. Just up, yeah.
But look, like I said, if you're a die-hard fan, then it's got to go either way.
How many die-hard Captain Marvel fans are there, though?
I don't know. This world is a big world out there, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I know she's been part of the Marvel comic books for a long time. But yeah, you talk about cosplay. That's only been a recent thing, I reckon.
People are there's a lot out there, and
Yeah.
I think that what she symbolises, I think, is what is the key, and they do portray this very well in this movie. And, it's
And
what
you
I
know
do-
what? That
I
is
do
the
like
one
that.
white elephant we haven't discussed, but this is heavily influenced
Yeah.
by the climate of today in this film.
Oh, for sure.
Especially when it comes to the representation of female characters,
The
the
empowerment
things they
of
have
women.
to go. Yeah,
It's just
you know, it's certainly very much part of this entire film, man. It's just it's the world we live in today, isn't it?
great. It's good to see.
Well, guys, we're going to be really wanting to know what you guys thought. You know, like I said, it's not a bad film, but it ain't a great film to us. But we really will be feeding off your responses and your comments about Captain Marvel. So, Rick, how are they going to let us know what they thought of Captain Marvel?
Guys, all you need to do is give us a comment down below for the video. Also, hit that subscribe button for our channel. If you have already, thank you so much for your support. We really, really appreciate it. Follow us all on our social media sites, and also hit that notification bell as well. Easy and simple as that, guys.
Beauty, guys. We'll
See
see
ya.
you next time.